So a very nice Rabbi Eliyahu Benamozegh on Pirashat Ekev, where the pasuk says "Ve'aya Ekev Tishme'un," and it brings the idea of Sachar va'onesh. And we know the famous Ma'amar Hazal, Sechal Misvot Behayal Maleka. So he gives a very nice and very precise explanation of Sechal Misvot Behayal Maleka. He says that there's a difference between national and individual. One of the Perushim on Haramban Nahmani, called Me'ol Vashemesh, made a distinction between national and individual. But the distinction that was made in Me'ol Vashemesh between national and individual was referring to the difference between the reward for the misvot that fall on the nation and the misvot that fall on the individual. So the reward for the misvot that fall on the nation happen in this world, and the reward for the misvot that fall on the individual happen in the next world. So that's interesting. He disagrees with that distinction. He says there is a distinction between national and individual, but it's not between national misvot and individual misvot. He says, Rabbi Eliyahu Benamozegh says, that the Torah Shebichtav was given to the entire nation, of course, as a nation. That's a very interesting point, by the way, one that we should think about independently. The Torah Shebichtav was given to the nation as a nation. So the Torah Shebichtav was given to the nation. And what he says is interesting. He doesn't distinguish between national misvot and individual misvot. He disagrees with that distinction. He says the correct distinction is between the nation and individual, qua nation and qua individual, because a nation is not something that exists in Olam Haba. In Olam Haba, all you have are individuals. You don't have the nation, meaning every individual, every physical Jew has a neshama, and the neshama goes to Olam Haba. But the nation, there's no spiritual neshama of the nation that goes to Olam Haba, right? So therefore, Rabbi Eliyahu Benamozegh says that there's a distinction between how you reward the nation and how you reward the individual. Since there is no nation that carries on into Olam Haba, there's no neshama of the nation. So therefore, the only way to reward the nation is in Olam Hazeh. And that's why things like V'hayim Shemot Yeshua Misvotai Asher Anochi Misaveh Etchem Hayom Ve'lashon Rabim, Rabbi Eliyahu Benamozegh says that means the nation will be rewarded with fertile land, with rains, and so on and so forth. Those are national rewards for the nation, for the fact that the Am Yisrael is following the Misvot. Now, when it comes to rewarding the individual, since the individual has a neshama or nefesh, and the nefesh or the neshama, as you will, that's what goes to Olam Haba. Because of that, we say Sechal Misvot Behai Al Maleka, because the real Sachar is in Olam Haba. And I would just add what Harambam says, that you cannot compare any of the pleasures in this world to the pleasure in Olam Haba. So the real Sechal Misvot for the individual can only be in Olam Haba and not in Olam Hazeh. In Olam Hazeh, as Rambam says, Hashem helps the individual. He assists him so that he can perform the Torah, right? So that he can perform the Torah. But that's not really Sachar for the Misvot, right? So that's a very great point of Rabbi Eliyahu Benamozegh, that Hashem rewards the nation because the nation doesn't exist in Olam Haba. And so he rewards the nation in Olam Hazeh, and he rewards the individual in Olam Haba. But in this Olam, now this is Harambam talking, not Rabbi Eliyahu Benamozegh, but in this Olam, in Olam Hazeh, he gives the individual encouragement and the means through which to perform the Misvot.